Hello, Luke here. I would just like to take a moment to disclose upfront that we sometimes talk about sensitive topics in our podcasts, and in fairness to our audience, we will try our best to put specific warnings in the descriptions of each episode. Now on with the show.
Dark deep, woods are lovely, dark and deep, promises to keep, miles to go before I sleep. So, how about that lap dance? Didn't get one beforehand, sense your bruised ego, got a free drink from me. So, how about that lap dance? Little black book in my hand, or under chicken you'll go, so why don't you shake it for me? It was One Dance by Drake. It was very hard, As I said off mic, this was like a head against the wall.
I thought you were doing Sandman by Metallica.
Oh, no, that probably would have been better.
With this homage to 70s grindhouse and sexploitation movies, Quentin Tarantino brings us proof of all the voices in his head with death proof. I just realized I put proof twice in that. That's pretty lame.
Wow, you probably should have proofed that.
Yeah, damn it. This movie brought to you by Feet.
Yeah, oh my God.
Welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. I'm Luc Londe. With me almost as always, is Chuck Starzenski.
That's right. And, this is an audio podcast. I am barefoot, as Tarantino would wish.
Oh, God, he's not lying.
I'm not.
And almost always, again, Javier Martinez.
Vroom, vroom. Let's get those engines going.
And be sure to stick around for our Sonic Death Monkey Top 5, where we list our top 5 movie characters we'd be reluctant to get in a car with.
I'm taking the keys away.
And this is our honorary Sam Coughlin spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie, which came out in 2006.
2007.
2007.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Turn this off now, because there's spoilers ahead. Or just keep listening, because there's really nothing to spoil, honestly.
Yeah.
I was saying, the proof is in the pudding. It's in the name. Death proof.
I have to say, this is the second time I've watched this movie.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But first time I wasn't like analyzing it. I was just like, oh, this is another Tarantino film. Awesome. Yeah, I kind of like it. I don't know when I'll go back to it, but it's definitely up there. If I was making a list of my Tarantino films, this is not at the bottom.
Right on. Yeah. Likewise, it's up there for me out of, his films. I know that the general consensus is actually like down, near the lower end of his, at least,
Sure.
If you go by what's online and stuff.
I think it's just not as high concept as any other of his movies. It's just a straight up sexploitation homage to like 70s films.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I watch this thing like all the time.
And we're talking with Javier Martinez, who also has a muscle car and Tarantino tattoos. And I just want to give context for the audience there.
Yeah, I saw the original Grindhouse run of Death Proof and Planet Terror in theaters on opening weekend. Had an absolute blast. It was my first legal double feature. Obviously movie hopped as a shitty teenager before that, but this was the first time it's like, no. Like, you will pay one price and you just sit there for 4 hours. It's like, no. I'm sold. But I immediately torrented the soundtrack off of LimeWire and listened to it religiously. And I love this movie personally. And I will reveal where it sits on my Tarantino ranking when we do our verdict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Damn it. And since it's, I've only watched it twice. I don't have too many favorite scenes, but holy shit, the stunts. I remember this from the first time. I love stunt people. I love the people who are doing the real work, taking the real falls, and they're front and center in this movie, which is awesome.
No, absolutely. I know that this year, if anybody that saw the Oscars, they had like a little moment there to like honor the the stunt people, and I got a little excited. I'm like, oh, are we finally doing it? Are we finally doing a stunt category for the Oscars? Like, so we'll see about next year. I don't know, but I mean, if we're hopping into our favorite scenes, I mean, you're talking about stunt work, like that 20-minute car chase scene, like the climactic, like, I mean, I had that's the easy one, but I had to put that up there. It's just it's so well done and it's so fun. Like,
I'm gonna bug the shit out of my boss next time I'm down in LA to go drive that road. I want to get that on camera, man.
Cool. Yeah, obviously, Zoe Bell, an actual stunt woman.
Yeah, she's Uma Thurman's
right.
double in Kill Bill and all that stuff. So
so it's great, getting to see her in frame basically the entire length of doing all of it and most of it.
And not just that, like during the actual dialogue parts, she's sitting in front of Rosario Dawson. She's like blocking her half the time. She's like actually put her in front of Rosario Dawson. But Quentin's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, my most iconic scene is definitely Pam's ride home.
Yeah.
Like, Like I've seen this movie countless times and that still gives me chills.
That turn, dude.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my God.
Left or right?
Oh my God. Yeah, I did.
Could have easily just as been going the same way.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a hot take. The people who are really on fire in this movie are Kurt Russell and Rosario Dawson.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Russell's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, if Kurt wasn't in this movie, this wouldn't be a movie. Yeah, he's charming and fucking he's also the thing and like
Obviously, Butterfly's lap dance. Again, one of those. It's just a really fun moment,
I like the lead up to it.
I was gonna say that fucking pre-lap dance exchange is like, oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you in my book under chicken shit.
Yeah. Which is funny. So I didn't see it in theaters, right? So I just have the DVD, the extended cut or whatever, Tarantino's cut of it. But I was told that in the theaters they didn't have like the full lap dance. Like it's like maybe like the first.
It's like 5 seconds, or that, if even that. Yeah. It's literally like because they do like the sexy buildup. Where it's like she's kind of shaking and stuff. And then you're like, oh, we're going to get like this cool, like sensational, super erotic lap dance. And then the second she starts to do anything, it just like
missing reel.
The classic missing reel, like the film burn and all that.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah. So I wonder, I don't know what else is cut out from the theatrical cut.
That'd be interesting to find out.
Well, we'll get to trivia.
Oh, shit. That's right.
Yeah, cool. Right on. Yeah. But that scene is just well done. I like how when the camera's rotating around her doing the dance.
Marcy's buy you a drink role playing scene in the taqueria is so fucking good. Marcy is so fucking. The whole cast is so highlighted. Kurt obviously and Rosario Dawson, but like everybody is doing work in this. Like I wish I had her name written down. I know I know her name because
it's the same.
It's the same, but Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Sidney Poitier being like, I'm gonna George Foreman this one.
I think her name's a Y instead of an I or something like that.
She is so fucking good. Like she's like as soon as this like ended, I looked her up. I was like, what else has she been in? Because she's just like she carries the entire first act.
Yeah, like nothing really.
She takes the extreme heightened Tarantino dialogue that like some people still do well but don't do as well, and she just makes it her own and just kind of like completely
sounds very natural.
It sounds so natural, and actually like this is something she's saying, not something where Tarantino's like coked out at 3 a.m. like, yeah, man, I'm going to write this whole chapter about like how this woman knows this really obscure history of like this band that the guy from The Who was almost in. And it's like, no, it sounds like she would actually know that because she's a radio host and like all that stuff. It's like delivered flawlessly.
Obviously, that first crash that shows from multiple different angles. Again, it's just you could just tell that I think out of every film Tarantino has done, he was having so much fun with this one.
No, seeing it in theaters, that like the big, jarring, like almost scene changing crash was just so like it was so like visceral. Do highly recommend if they ever show this anywhere, go see it on a big screen because it definitely plays well.
Yeah. No, and again, and it's everything just like everything else in this film. It's all practical. It's not CGI. They got Nicotero to do the makeup and stuff like that from the Romero films. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
And then one of the last things I want to really touch on is this is my personal, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but this is Tarantino's best soundtrack. To me, this is my favorite by far.
You're fired.
I'd have to think about that one, but I wouldn't immediately dismiss it. Yeah,
like, I don't know. It's just got such, for me, it's like everything hits so hard. There's no repeats and it just keeps going. Yeah. Also, I'm just like a sucker for like power pop and fucking blues and all of that anyway. So I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
All right. You guys want to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Sure. I just want to say one last thing because I don't know where else to put this. You guys already touched on Zoe Bell and like stunt work and whatnot. The shit mask scene. I was Rosario Dawson in high school. I've transitioned very well. I was Rosario Dawson in high school in the sense that I inadvertently played reverse shitmass with an idiot friend in high school. So we were driving around smoking weed. Person who's driving is like, makes a comment like about like, oh yeah, like this is like one of those straightaways you can really rip. And so he's like, I'm just gonna gun it and, see if we can get the car up to like 90 or something like that. And my friend's like, oh, let me try something. And he goes out and he hangs onto the back of the car. I think we got the car up to like 40 or something. And he's just literally like by his hands, just through the window and just like screaming for my friend to go faster. And the whole time I am like baked out of my gourd, just being like, is this real life? Is this guy going to die? Which shout out Josh Wetch, if you're listening. I hope you're doing well, bud. Hope you've made better life decisions since then.
I enjoy this movie just fine, but I got really bored listening to people just having a conversation, which was, if you look at it, it's just Tarantino having a conversation in his head with a bunch of different characters.
Sure.
I was very tempted to fast forward through a lot of the non-driving
do you have a specific side of the coin? Would you say more Tennessee or more
the 20 minutes in the bar?
Oh, really?
Before, yeah, just all the conversation about those people we never see off screen. I don't know, the people that show up with the weed. We get to see one of those people who's also a stunt person, and then she brings 2 or 3 friends who we never talk to. Why?
Yeah, there's a lot of setup that goes nowhere in the first half.
But it's I recognize it as the homage to like 70s, you know, sexploitation, grindhouse movies that don't have a reason or a why. Or I understand it, but man, I was falling asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I had that as one of my nitpicks, a little more general, but yeah, just that I think personally, even though this film is up there for me out of all the Tarantino movies, in a weird way, I think out of all of his films, this is the one with like the roughest dialogue. It's very well done in that, like, again, it sounds natural, like they're just having a conversation.
Does it though?
But it's, well,
that was another thing that rubbed up against me. I was like, there's just 4 women having a car ride, but it's not 4 women. It's Quentin Tarantino imagining 4 women having a car ride.
Sure. And yeah, I guess there's specific scenes that are better than others. Like I think even though, it's not as exciting, I think the scene at the diner after they pick up Zoe Bell, that sounds pretty natural.
The second half, I love it. Yeah, that's way better. I think it's because
when they're in the car, you're right. That is.
But I think the second half is the presence of Rosario Dawson kind of pushes that group along pretty well, and Zoe did quite well as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But the first half for me, that group of people I didn't relate to. I wish them the best, but I don't care.
Oh, see, I'm like the flip side here.
Yeah.
Which leads to my biggest nitpick, which I will get on my soapbox really quick. The stylistic shift between the 2 sets of protagonists is way too fucking jarring.
Oh, yeah.
We go to all the trouble of making the first half so intensely a grindhouse, like 70s homage. Like you've got the film scratching, you've got all the mis-edits. It feels like, because it's in Austin and it's kind of like these remote areas of Austin and all that, it feels like a 70s film. Everyone's like, the dialogue, like, I think I'm a little more forgiving because it's just so stylistically there. And then it's also like, it's just, there's a lot more tension building, I would argue, in the first act, because you get more stuntman Mike just kind of circling like a shark constantly. And so you're just kind of like, you get the vibe that he's no good, from the get-go, because you see him stalking the women and all that kind of stuff. And you're just like kind of waiting for him to pounce. So I think I'm a little bit more forgiving of like some of the more throwaway dialogue in the first act.
Yeah, I agree.
And then just like, I love the second act too, but it's like, we literally just the bucket drops out and all of a sudden it's like, it's so modern and it's like so clean and like beautifully shot. And I fucking hate that. Because it's like, why did we go to all the trouble?
I think
it was an odd choice.
If they actually went to Tennessee and filmed in Tennessee, it would have been better.
Exactly.
But it's just outside of LA again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Orange County. Yeah.
I could see what you're going for, but maybe I just don't like Texas. And like the whole Austin thing kind of put me off. I'm like, I don't care for this aesthetic or people much. No offense to anyone or maybe from Austin listening.
Yeah, right.
We still want your money.
Our one listener from Austin, Texas.
Yeah. Shout out Buda County.
Yeah, it's kind of along the same lines, but there's definitely some fat that could be cut, I think.
I was trying to think of
a lot of kind of lingering shots and some of the dialogue.
The final, like when Zoe Bell's on the hood and they're doing the chase and the bumping, that goes on for quite a long time. I love it.
Let that go.
I'm all ready for people to start driving and killing each other after sitting around and talking for 2 hours. Like that end car chase was good. It felt good at the end. Like
it's very cathartic.
Cathartic, exactly. Yeah. Right on. Anything else? Any big ones?
I've got 2 more. They're more actual nitpicks though.
All right.
Leaving Lee behind.
We never get to see what happens to Lee.
We don't know what happens to Lee. Also, like, that guy is like, she's already like at complete risk being left with this like backwoods creep. God forbid, like he actually tries something. She's not the one who has a gun or anything in her like hip.
Right.
And then on top of that, they destroyed his fucking car. What is, what's going to happen to Lee?
I think that's like what happened the next day.
Exactly.
Question. Like they, of course, I'm pretty sure they bought the car because they had to, and they rescued Lee.
And then another big one is unless you watch this with Planet Terror and you watch Planet Terror first, the scene with the doctor and the sheriff in the hospital has no context and makes no fucking sense and should just be cut.
Right. Oh, why is she so mad at the cops?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm all for that though. I like that. That's like one of my favorite scenes. And I'll go into that later into my, I think it's in part of my hot take.
Oh my God. Are we, is this the first like Luke's the Javier episode?
Possibly.
Yeah. I like this.
Yeah. I like when they're walking around talking, but that interaction with the doctor is,
it was obscure obscure and didn't make sense, but I'm okay with that. I also didn't understand half of the things people were talking about in the movie either. So I'm like, all right, I'm not supposed to understand it.
You're like, all right, here we are.
I'm just going to hit the I believe button and go. Right on. Let's go on to our rainy day double feature. I'm going to just go watch the other Kill Bills again.
Cool.
That's already on my agenda for tonight, I think.
Nice. Yeah. I had possibly an odd one, but I had It Follows.
Ooh. That's a good one.
I felt like another modern day kind of grindhousey film.
Yeah, for sure.
And, that does a really good job of throwing those homages, kind of have that unknown stalker kind of force, same energy as Stuntman Mike in some ways. And so, yeah, I mean, that was my thought. Like I kind of, after I was like, oh yeah, I was thinking that's usually the first thing I think about. Like, what's gonna be my rainy day pairing with this, And I was like, oh, I kind of want to watch It Follows.
I went for pure nostalgia and I was like, dude, I want to rewatch this with Planet Terror.
Sure.
Like I want to relive the Grindhouse experience and, for bonus points, throw in the YouTube, like fake trailers too.
Yeah.
As God intended. Yeah.
With Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and then
Don't.
Yeah.
Was Brian Posehn in those? I think Brian Posehn and a couple other comedians were in them. And those were fun.
Yeah.
Those were good
Don't.
time.
And
Werewolf Women of the SS. Yeah. Rob Zombie.
Which I'm surprised Rob hasn't made that.
I really am. Yeah.
It's one of his songs.
I do love, like, 'cause I was doing some research for the trivia later and stuff, and I was hoping to get some like fun stuff in there for the trailers and whatnot. But the biggest thing that I could really find is like, we just got Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's a different movie. That movie's incredible.
Right, it does exist.
That's one with the turkey with the
puppet turkey.
I was going to say that would be a great movie. I was like, oh, we already did that.
You just got, it has one of the best lines in all of horror cinema. You just got stuffed, bitch. But what I was going to say is, they reached out to Edgar Wright. They were like, oh my God, Thanksgiving got made. Like, when's Don't coming out? Like, when should we expect it? And then he just said, Don't. That's pretty spot on.
Nice.
Right on. Let's go on to this movie's cocktail.
We got The Thing. Do guys even like The Thing?
Like it better than No Thing.
Exactly. So for The Thing, we've got 1 ounce of tequila, half an ounce of the only liquor so good they named a color after it. I say that all the time in regards to chartreuse. I say that so often that the first time I watched, because I've seen Death Proof countless times, but the first time I watched it with my wife, she glared at me when Quentin Tarantino said it. She's like, that's why you motherfucker.
You stole that bit.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, half ounce of the only liquor so good they named a color after it, 1 ounce of pineapple juice, and a half ounce of coconut cream. Blend all the ingredients with ice and enjoy as irresponsibly as you want. After all, Icy Hot's your DD.
And with that, we'll go on to our first ad break.
Ad break. And we're back with everyone's favorite Nostalgia Killers trivia. I also want to let you boys know this one is easy, all right? You can get 100% on all the questions here, but to do that, you really got to be sitting where I'm sitting. And by that, I mean looking at the answers.
Looking at the answers, yeah.
So question number 1, where does the title Death Proof come from? Is it A, an unused Tarantino script idea about an immortal stuntman? B, stunt person and film star Zoe Bell's nickname? C, Tarantino's fear of dying in a car accident?
I'm such a fucking Tarantino fanboy that I feel like I probably know most of these. It is C, I believe.
I was Javi going to win this one.
He probably is. What do you think?
I'll go with A.
Javi is correct. It is C. During a drunken night with Sean Penn, Tarantino was talking about his fear of car accidents after filming a really gnarly one, and he was planning on buying a Volvo due to their safety. Penn drunkenly explained to him that for about 15 grand at the time, you can death-proof any car if you take it to the stunt people on any film lot. Question number 2, true or false? This is Tarantino's only cinematography credit.
True.
I mean, I know he does it for this film. I'm just trying to think if he did it for anything else, but
I think this is the only one where he's the sole credited person.
I think all the other ones were Richardson.
I know he gets involved with all his other ones, but he's got someone else handling it.
Sure, true.
Ding, ding, ding. You're both correct. It's also kind of a trick question because he actually did film a good chunk of Reservoir Dogs, just uncredited. First movie, shoestring budget kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is also his least favorite film he's ever made. And one of the reasons is because he said he was like so caught up in being the cinematographer and filming that he said he like kind of took a step back from directing at times. So he feels parts of this movie really got away from him.
It wasn't just the cocaine?
I'm sure it was all. I'm sure the coke was there. I would like the idea actually of Because you have issues with the dialogue if half the dialogue is improvised, because he's just like, Quentin, what do I say? I don't know, just keep talking, and he's just focusing in on Rosario Dawson's toes.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
say whatever you need to, doll.
I'm just gonna be over here with my friend Charlie.
Question number 3. Tarantino purposely trimmed down the Grindhouse version of the film, the theatrical version, to make sitting through 2 movies back-to-back more palatable. We know this cut exists. How many different cuts of Death Proof are there?
I'm gonna say 3.
I'm gonna go 5.
Ding, ding, ding. Luke is correct. So the full cut is 127 minutes. There's a 121-minute unrated cut. The international theatrical cut is 114. The Japanese cut, for whatever reason, is 113 minutes. And then...
There's 1 minute missing from it.
Yeah, I don't know why. And then the original theatrical Grindhouse version is only 87 minutes.
Whoa. That's I want to watch that version.
Yeah.
Just to get a different taste of how, like,
I wonder if that would sell
feels.
Yeah.
Because I have only seen this long version, and I wonder if it was just a little snappier and not just like, fake film error cuts.
Well, since you've only seen the long versions, this next question is literally fish in a barrel. So as we said, yeah, exactly. As we said, Tarantino had a lot of fun with the editing process. Film negatives were physically scratched, and certain scenes were deliberately cut to give the film a more gritty and slapped together feel. Which of these deliberately cut scenes has never seen the light of day? Is it A, the entirety of Butterfly's lap dance? B, stuntman Mike masturbating after surviving the second crash? C, stuntman Mike stalking the girls in between lunch and the bar? Or D, stuntman Mike playing with Abernathy's feet while she naps in the back of the car?
I was gonna say B.
I know,
but now I kind of
right?
but I kind of want to. Yeah, I kind of am very sure Tarantino has like a 20-minute fucking scene of Kurt Russell. Just keep going, Kurt. Just a little bit longer. Keep going. So I'm gonna go with the last one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with
tongue to toe.
Yeah.
Tongue to toe.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. I'm gonna go with the whacking off one.
Should have stuck with your gut, Javi. It is indeed B, the whacking off one.
Yeah.
The scene was originally cut so that it could have that really tight groundhog grindhouse.
It's coming up later.
I know. Don't worry, that's question number 7. It was cut due to the tightening for the grindhouse cut. And then when he went to go put it back in, he realized it was super redundant because that scene happens directly before the scene where the 2 sheriffs are like discussing and speculating. And it's like, I feel it's more interesting just to have them speculate as to see bloody Kurt Russell pounding off. Question number 5. I've already gushed about my love of the soundtrack. Tarantino also loves this soundtrack because the jukebox that's used in the film is his personal, and it is lovingly named Amy. Which of these following bits of Amy trivia is not true? A, Amy was featured in the film Natural Born Killers. B, Amy was loaded into the wrong shipping container after filming and was almost lost on the Dimension Films lot. C, Amy gets her own special thank you credit in this film. And D, Amy is loaded with every single song ever used in Tarantino's filmography.
B. There's no way he would let that thing get lost.
I know. I want to say that too, but I want to be different, so I'll go with A.
Ding, ding, ding. It is B. He would never lose that thing. And then just a fun little other factoid. Speaking of the loaded every single song.
Yeah.
In the movie, if you look really carefully, for like a split second, you can actually see You Never Can Tell by Chuck Berry and Miserlou by Duck Dale, both of which iconic scenes in Pulp Fiction.
I was just thinking the car from Pulp Fiction got stolen for a long time.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like
The red convertible.
These things happen to Tarantino films. Like, thought maybe the jukebox may have wandered off with some paperwork somehow.
Question number 6. Tarantino wears his influences on his sleeve, and sometimes his characters literally name them. Which of the following car chase classics isn't mentioned verbally in Death Proof? Is it A, The French Connection, B, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, C, Bullet, or D, Gone in 60 Seconds?
B?
It's A or C, and I'm blanking right now. It's I'm gonna go with C.
It is A, The French Connection. So many different like scene and cut homages and close-ups and things that are like literal, like, oh my God, that's from Bullet. And like, oh my God, that's from Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. That
I have one we'll talk about later that he takes a lot. He doesn't take a lot. He like pays homage to a lot.
Question number 7. As we mentioned, this movie is full of homages. Death Proof is also littered with winks and nods to his own previous films. I'll award you guys 1 point per Easter egg and 2 points if you can tell me which of the films surprisingly doesn't get referenced at all.
I know that the police officer refers to his son as son number 1, which is also in Kill Bill. He also refers to his son in Kill Bill as son number 1. Oh no, obviously same actors.
Same actors, same characters. Yeah.
You know, just because it is my least favorite, I'm going to say he doesn't reference Jackie Brown.
But there's also Rosario Dawson's ringtone is the whistle song from Kill Bill.
Yeah, nice.
Butterfly says something that's either I think they're all in Kill Bill, which is part of my hot take later. But
Yeah.
I think that's all I can remember right now.
Well, you each got 1 point on that. The film that never gets mentioned is Reservoir Dogs, weirdly enough.
Oh.
From Kill Bill, the yellow vehicle that they're driving in the second act when they're on their way to go get the white Dodge Challenger is the Lil Pussy Wagon. Is what? There's an icon on it.
And then there's the owner of the pussy. Or no, that's Bucks. It's not that guy, but that's the guy. Yeah.
Oh,
Bucks customers.
The Big Kahuna Burger is
Big Kahuna
referenced
Burger.
several times for Pulp Fiction. And then this one's like super fucking random, but Acuna Boys is a restaurant in Jackie Brown in the food court. And that's like what Jackie Brown is eating the entire time she's like going to the mall. And apparently there's an Acuna Boys restaurant and an Acuna Boys cup in the movie.
Yeah.
That was a hard one.
Yeah, that was pretty good though. I did notice those things when I was watching it. I was like, you self-referential asshole.
And now we're on to Suspicious Connections, Kurt Russell edition.
Oh boy.
So that's a hint. All of these have something to do with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell.
It is correct.
Oh, bad.
Question number 8. Kurt Russell was far from Tarantino's first choice for the role of Stuntman Mike. Of the following actors that were considered, which did Tarantino have his heart set on, but ultimately lost? Was it A, Ving Rhames, B, Cal Penn, C, Mickey Rourke, or D, John Travolta?
I think he saw Sin City and wanted Mickey Rourke.
See, this is tough because I want to say that Mickey Rourke is like but I want to say that's almost
Too easy.
too easy. Like that's too similar to, like, I think his would have been similar to.
Can you imagine Cal Penn in that?
So I want to go with one of the wilder choices.
Yeah, it would be one more entertaining if it was not obvious.
Just because it's the craziest, I'm gonna go with Cal Penn. That'd be fucking. That's the answer. That's fucking insane. I'm gonna lose my shit. There's no way.
Unfortunately, it's a little more spot on. It was Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. Okay.
The script was written with him in mind. Only reason Mickey Rourke was not cast is because his agents were holding out for more money. And Tarantino's like, no, dude, we gotta film. It's like we're filming in like fucking Texas and this and that, like the heat, like all that. Like we gotta film in this window, or else like it's gonna be a miserable shoot. And they just kept holding out. And he's like, well, fine, fuck it, Kurt Russell, let's go.
Yeah, I could see it, but I'm really glad Kurt got it.
Oh yeah,
Mickey doesn't have the charm.
Right, he's a little more
this
charismatic.
movie.
Yeah, there's no way.
Question 9, true or false? Stuntman Mike's stunt credits, High Chaparral and The Virginian, are actually Kurt Russell TV credits.
True.
We'll say false just to be different. But I know it's true. I'll say false though. I'll say false.
It is true.
Yeah, just that he was a little boy and like he was the Disney kid. He was on all these fucking TV shows. It's insane how long he's been in the business.
And question number 10, Kurt Russell himself isn't the only Big Trouble in Little China tie-in to this film. What iconic piece of Big Trouble memorabilia is proudly displayed on the wall of Warren's bar?
Oh god, I didn't see anything.
Ooh, I'm trying to remember. There's so much shit in that bar though.
Yeah.
Which I loved, by the way.
What could it be?
I feel like I'm having I see it in my mind. My mind's like, dude, it's right there. Like this.
I have no idea.
And it's Jack's sweaty, dirty, rising sun tank top from Big Trouble in Little China is on the wall of the bar directly behind Warren.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for playing. And also, obviously, Luke won. I mean, they're huge Quentin Tarantino fans, so there's no way they couldn't have taken.
Be great if you got my name wrong. George, Luke. And with that, we'd like to thank our executive producers. Producer, Addie Martinez. Thank you, Addie.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to be an executive producer, have your name shouted out on our episode, you can support us for $15 a month on Patreon, or patreon.com/The Nostalgia Killers.
That's right, Addie, you're all right in our book. And if you'd like to get jotted down in my book, which I do keep.
Oh, yeah. If you don't want to be listed under chicken shit.
Exactly. For $15 a month, I'll remember you forever.
And with that spectacular marketing, we'll take our second ad break.
Ad break number 2.
And we're back with Act 3 of the award categories, where we start off with my new band name. I imagine you guys have quite a few.
I whittled this down. I literally had like 10.
Okay.
I got it down to 3.
Oh, good.
It's a
Following the
theatrical
rules.
cut of
It's the theatrical cut of the band names, yeah.
the Japan
The
cut.
Japanese cut is 9 instead of 10, yeah. My first one is Bruised Ego, Beautiful Angel. They're obviously a screamo band. But yeah, the line is, there's nothing more fetching than a bruised ego on a beautiful angel, which is creepy as fuck. Don't ever say that to somebody.
But she fell for it.
Exactly.
She melted right there.
I have Son Number 1.
Yeah, you like that one?
And I'm hearing like a Creedence,
yeah, exactly.
Leonard Skinner kind of thing in my head. So
I got a part of that conversation, Zatoichi sex thing. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zatoichi. It's an old, I think 1950s serial, but it's a Japanese blind swordsman. And when she's saying like, I got another billboard right over there, Zatoichi, like she's calling him a blind man because she's standing right in front of it. Very good pop culture reference I liked. And then there's the sex thing when they're having the conversation like, oh, I think he's getting off on it. And they're STP, Stone Temple Pilots, very much.
Nice. Yeah, I got the double fucks. They're just like a really gnarly, like noise rock, industrial, like Death Grips style band. Just a lot of ugly sound and a lot of yelling.
I got Sugar Tastes Like Salt, and that's like a bubblegum pop indie kind of band.
Mm-hmm. That was a good little thing I didn't think was going to land, but after like 2 seconds, like, yeah, that works.
Yeah,
he's so, yeah, dude.
It's all Kurt Russell.
That's what I was saying. Everything that comes out of like a couple characters' mouths, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm into it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got Punish Frankenstein. They're a psychobilly band. They do like, bad Misfits covers and stuff. But yeah, it's again, hospital scene. And it's like they're walking out of the hospital. And he's like, well, since thinking don't cost nothing. And he does his whole theory and stuff. And he's like, well, I ain't going to do shit about it because that sounds like it's going to be a lot of work. He's like, but if he ever comes back to Texas, I'll make sure they punish Frankenstein.
So I had one that started off a little bit different. So originally for this one, I had Abernathy. Separate, right? Reference to like, oh, what's your first name? Rosario Dawson's character. And then I actually ended up liking it better as just keeping just her name as like a, one of those one name artists like Shakira, Beyonce, just Abernathy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you listen to Abernathy? Yeah, listen to Abernathy. Don't know what genre, but
I also weirdly love that name so much.
I hate it. There's no reason for me to hate it, but I just do. I think there's a place out towards Sears Point called Abernathy, out past Novato, and it's on the sign, and it's just like one of those words I just can't, just rubs me wrong. It's weird. I have no explanation for it. But I love Rosario Dawson, so I could completely forgive the movie for that.
She's so fucking good. I'm just going to use this moment to slip one, not even a band name, just a line in.
Yeah.
We're filming a cheerleader movie. What's a cheerleader movie? A movie about cheerleaders.
Like a porno movie. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go on to our Roger Deakins Would Be Proud Award for cinematography. Should be pretty easy to do.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lot, but
go for it.
I'm just going to first shout out all the sleazy Hollywood shots. So like Hollywood shot being that name for whenever you get that classic Clint Eastwood, like gun drawing, like dual shot of just like the butt and like the gun holster.
Uh-huh.
So it's used perfectly in this like Jungle Julia's butt, like going out the window to see the girls arrive. You've got the like hyper close up during the credits of Butterfly running up the stairs to pee. You've got Butterfly's butt at the jukebox. Like it's just it's very 70s sexploitation, just butts.
Very much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have those shots near the beginning where they're using only red light and shadows to hide Stuntman Mike in his car.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, pretty good.
It looks so fucking cool. Yeah. And then you have like he's looking in the one they used to
the visor mirror.
The visor mirror. And then he like closes it. And then
pretty good storytelling there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the kind of in the editing. I have a couple, but in the editing, all the broken film stuff, all the little scratches and stuff.
Yeah.
Weirdly, only in the first part of the movie.
Yeah, that's why it was so like I said, it's so jarring and it's so upsetting to me that it's not in the other half because there's so many moments where it could be and could be used beautifully during like some of the chases or something. Like it could be almost comedic where it's like you get like oh shit he's gonna hit and then they fucked up that shot kind of thing.
There are a couple, but it's more subtle.
Exactly.
But during the first half of the movie, I was liking it. Then there's a couple of times like okay, I get it now. You can stop doing it.
But he could have like spaced some of those into the other half.
He could have totally done some different editing. But my other big one is the Reservoir Dogs shot of the group at the Zoe and Rosario and all those. It's I can't remember if it's a oneer or not.
Yeah, it is the one around the dining. Yeah.
It's like a Steadicam all back and forth, like really fucking good. And not mesmerized about the conversation. I was just following what they're saying. And then at the end, I realized like they haven't cut yet. They're still going.
Yeah.
They must have done that, I don't know, 50 times.
Yeah. And what I love about that too is I didn't notice it, I think the first time I watched it, but I definitely noticed it the second time. And I always go like, oh, there, but Stuntman's in the background in that scene.
The coffee shop?
In the coffee shop.
Oh,
yeah.
no shit.
Yeah. He's sitting at the bar and he even looks over his shoulder and you see him, looks over his shoulder and you see
I
him.
got to go watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool because he's got the black shirt and the glasses. And
I usually rent movies for this podcast, but I actually bought this Death Proof this time. So I'm like, I'm going to go back and watch it again.
Nice. Well, maybe we'll win you over on your 8th watch.
Just let me out of the passenger side of the car, please.
I've got Julia dancing at the jukebox, just like when they first come in and she's just like her hair whipping and like taking over and just like it's such a like perfectly framed shot. The hood ornament tilt up to stuntman Mike spying on them with binoculars, where you've got the duck literally there like as his golden boner. We already figured out this is how he gets off. And then you go up and he's got the shit-eating grin while he's just got the binocs. It's so icky. It's so good.
The finale car chase scene. There's one particular when Zoe Bell is like literally like not on top of the hood, but like on the front, like dangling by the grill, and you got that push on her.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
love that.
Do you guys think she was just hanging on for the whole thing?
I want to say probably. I mean,
I don't want to. It's kind of like a magic thing. I don't like spoiling it.
I'm sure there's like probably like some cords she's got like rigged underneath the hood or something.
She's got a belt on.
Yeah.
She's bellied to it, so she wouldn't fall off. The only way they would film that, like insurance would not let that go.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, I'm sure. Yeah, they both probably talked about like maybe I could do that. Like maybe you want to do it. Like
There's a lot of it. Like when she's on her back, that's just her holding the belts for sure. But anytime she's on her belly. She's got a hook or a line going in through the hood.
It's not Hong Kong.
No, but it's like now that I think I watched an interview with Zoe and they were talking about that. I was like, now that I watch it again, I'm like, oh, it's not that cool. Sorry, I spoiled it for everybody. We can cut that out.
Nah, that's what this podcast's all about, ruining things.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say, which Chuck, you touched upon it, but like the framing and the composition in this film, I fucking love it. Like I feel like I could pause the movie at any moment and I'm like, oh, that's a cool still. I want that on my wall.
Sure.
Every single shot is like, I could have just a whole coffee table book of just.
We've got like 60% of your body left to tattoo. We can we can get to work. Okay. And we'll go on to our is that Channing Tatum in a dog collar award.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I feel like I've seen this too many times and
I've got one.
There's like two of them that are like, oh.
I've got two.
You want to go with your first one?
Sure. I mean, I've got the low hanging fruit. I've got Jonathan Loran as Jasper. He is what kind of movie?
Oh yeah.
He is in every single Adam Sandler film post Wedding Singer. So yeah, that's what I know him from. Is just like he's just the guy who's like.
I have Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Same. That was my second one.
Yeah.
Lee. She was Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I did not recognize her at all.
I have watched this movie like easily 50 times. And until I did research, I didn't recognize her this time around either. Until I was like looking shit up. I was like, I saw her name and I was like, who the fuck is she in this movie? I was like, is she just like an extra in the bar? And then it's like, oh no, like she's Lee.
She's got a huge wig on and like and a cheerleader's outfit.
It's totally different. And she's like, it's also just like I'm so used to seeing her play and testament to the fact that she is in fact an actor. I'm just used to her playing more like intelligent, articulate characters.
More forward roles too. Like,
seeing her play like a ditz too. Like it was just like, oh, I would never have cast her that way. That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you guys have a Hans Gruber?
Yeah. I mean, we already talked about it, so I'll just sum it up. The Stuntman Mike's comeuppance is mine. Yeah, it's just so cathartic watching him get the shit beat out of him.
It is good quality.
He does die because Rosario does like just fucking smash his face in.
Knife kicks his face in. Oh my God. That's right. Why I like Waterworld, a controversial hot take. This movie to me is Kill Bill 1.5 because it's the same universe. And it's just something happening in between 1 and 2. It's the sheriff and his son that tie it together.
Yeah.
A lot of the same actors are in it, but it's just another Kill Bill movie to me. Not to put it down or anything, but
no, it's all good.
And I was just going to bring up also one of the movies that doesn't get mentioned and maybe isn't a direct homage, but the movie Duel.
The Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's good. It's just it's a one man in a car against a semi truck. For the entire fucking movie. That's what the chase is reminding me of because it just kept going on and on and on.
Luke, you touched on this. I think it was you earlier, but I don't know. The story can't end well after the credits. I don't think they're justified in their self-defense that they did. Like, I don't think they're allowed to
there's
stomp his face in, and
there's also like, of all the stuff in the credits, there's like the old homages to like the 70s pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
They could have played out that scene at the end. They could have filmed what happened to Lee and how they got the car and all that stuff. It was like missed opportunity.
Right, there's all that, and
I think Quentin was just tired.
Yeah.
So I have a hot take. I want this movie to be 2 separate films and not Kill Bill. My hot take is I don't really care for Kill Bill Part 2. I think there are amazing scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that movie is a movie of special features and deleted scenes. Like, it's just like there's so much in that movie in Part 2 that I'm like, dude, this isn't like a story. It's just like, that's a sick thing you made. Yeah. That's something that you
it's the weaker of the two.
Couldn't cut. Yeah.
What if we recut all these movies into a TV series?
Exactly. But I was saying, I want this movie to be 2 separate films. I want the first half to be Death Proof 1, Butterfly survived the crash Final Girl style, and we have like she has to take on Stuntman Mike again somehow and like encounter him and all that. The second half takes place years later, and it's Death Proof 2, and we find out that Stuntman Mike somehow survived his comeuppance in the first movie.
Or it's his brother, Stuntman Bob.
Could be Stuntman Bob, avenging.
I like that.
And they accidentally drive through the production of Django when Quentin Tarantino's doing that bad Australian accent. They run him over.
Yeah. They save him before he cancels himself. He's like, get in the... And like, he doesn't even get to say cage.
There's just loud motor noises and on the side. You can't hear him anything. Let's go into our Blue Velvet meets Blue's Clues. I couldn't come up with a mashup. This movie's already mashed up.
Yeah. I had one that had like three different mashups that are kind of basically the same thing. Ooh. So I just went with one that was like the most encompassing of the idea. So I had Death Proof meets Christine. Right.
It's just the car.
Yeah. Well, I wanted Stuntman there too, but and the whole thing in Christine is like, I wanted to be the car and Stuntman. Like they're both, it's symbiotic. They're both feeding off of each other, right? Like Stuntman's already fucked up.
Well, I got great news for you. There's this movie called The Wraith.
The Wraith? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you mentioned it before.
I mentioned it several times. Okay. It is exactly what you just mentioned. It's a car plus the guy.
I will go watch The Wraith then.
Hell yeah. What if Stuntman was a red herring? And so you think that it's Stuntman the whole time, but it's the car. And he's actually like, please, Mr. Car, like, I don't want to be doing this. Like, you go.
Yeah.
But then he like puts on his cool guy, like murderous bravado, like in all the other scenes.
Yeah, because in case you guys were curious, I thought about Maximum Overdrive.
Sure.
Which again, it's funny because it's also Stephen King.
Yeah.
And I was like, just some sort of variation of that idea.
I didn't consider that angle of it, but that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did Death Proof meets Jason Lives. AKA Friday the 13th Part 6. So Tarantino has gone on record saying that this is his take on a slasher movie. Mm-hmm. So why not make it an actual slasher horror movie? So Stuntman Mike is literally death proof. He's an immortal killing machine that uses his immortal killing machine to stop teens.
And we'll go on to our Here Comes Kanye. Got to get those cards out there.
Yeah.
We got cards. We're down to like 28 days, I think.
28 days. It's time for you to play 52 pickup.
That's right.
So please pick up 52 decks at your convenience.
Yeah, I definitely need to push this campaign.
Cards.
We've got, please. It's Indiegogo.com.
If you're listening and you don't buy a deck of cards, you will go under chicken shit.
Yeah, that's right. Don't be written as under chicken shit in our book. Right on. Let's move on to our Do We Call Jules and Vincent? I would just like to, I forgot to point out at the beginning, this is our, I don't know if we call it brave or not, but we've been putting off doing any kind of Tarantino movie just because he's like way up there on our list of like movie gods. I'm going to let it live. I like it. I'm going to go watch it again. I bought it.
Just like his beloved car, man, this thing's death proof. Mm-hmm, We're letting it live. Can't die.
Yeah, I had to let it live. This is controversial hot take. This is in my top 3 favorite Tarantino movies, honestly.
Ooh, nice. You're still kicked out of the group.
Oh, I know.
Let's go on to our Sonic Death Monkey top 5. What top 5 all-time movie characters would you be reluctant to get into a car with? This is one of my favorite lists to write. This was fun.
This one was fun. Yeah, you're gonna notice a trend in mine, much like last episode.
And I'll go ahead and start off with my number 5. Was sticking with Stephen King. I would be reluctant to get into the car with the Torrance family on their way up to the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
Not to mention it was just a little beetle, but I'd kind of like maybe go the other direction.
You don't want to go with a broken child and an alcoholic wife beater, and
How great would that car ride be? Like sitting next to Danny in the back. Like,
Ram.
yeah. Kid's talking to his finger.
yeah.
Nice. My number 5, I had Tropic Thunder.
None of those guys.
Yeah, doesn't matter who you pick for that movie. They're all just fucking divas and just shitty, annoying people. I think I don't want to, high on themselves and just what their idea of a conversation is.
You don't want to hang out with RDJ in blackface? He's an Oscar winner.
Oh man, I caught a glimpse of that movie recently. I'm scared to do it now.
I would love to do that movie.
We have to, obviously, but I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, my number 5 is Cher from Clueless. She's a terrible driver, and I'm going to be white knuckling the whole time. She does not watch the road, no matter how many times she goes rolling with the homies. But yeah,
my number 4 is Punxsutawney Phil because he bites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd pick another car and wait for another ride.
Yeah.
There's a fucking rodent in that car.
Exactly.
Number 4, anybody from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Because they just are a shit magnet. They get like all the bad luck, just like nothing goes wrong right for anybody in that movie. Mostly. Yeah, I could end up getting my brains blown out in the backseat of a pretty nice white Buick Cadillac.
Zed gets his bike stolen by a samurai guy and then
end up in a dungeon. Yeah, man, I'm good.
You're right. That's a good.
Yeah, my number 4 is SpongeBob from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. All he knows how to do is put the car in reverse and floor it. The man's also been in driver's ed for 20-something years now, so yeah, he's never going to get that license.
There's so many good jokes in that show. My number 3, no hobbits. They have never seen a car, and they would likely just be horrified by it. And they have no idea how to drive. Don't want to.
My number 3, I have Travis Bickle.
Oh yeah.
No thanks.
I wonder how different it would be if there was someone else in the car with him all those times. If you had a friend to talk to.
Yeah.
I don't want to be his friend though. I don't want to take that on. That's a lot of responsibility.
I totally agree. You'd have to be paid to do it. But like as a social worker, kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
This is where my list takes a very definitive turn. Number 3, I have Adrienne from Titaine.
Oh god.
I know what she did to that fucking car. I'm gonna be so icked out the whole time, not knowing where it's safe to sit. I'm gonna
just sit in the back seat while it happens.
Well, I'm gonna go put my seatbelt on and I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm like, wow, these seats are pleather. Oh.
So I have not seen that.
Oh,
but I think I just found out enough that I don't really.
I think you do. It's
that's a great movie. I fucking love that movie.
It is.
Honestly.
It's bizarre shit, but well worth watching. I think.
Okay.
It's not gross. It'd just be gross to get in that car.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
My number 2, Tom Sizemore in Bringing Out the Dead. You seen it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a Nick Cage, Tom Sizemore. Who else? John
Scorsese
Goodman.
movie.
Yeah, it's a Scorsese, and they're ambulance drivers, and they're all just fucking whacked out and drugged up, and like, it's a fucking awesome movie. There's a scene where Nick Cage is looking over at Tom Sizemore, and they're driving to a thing, and he's just like the devil. It's like, yeah, that would trip me the fuck out. I wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Number 2, I had Patrick Whitman in American Psycho. I know, low hanging fruit, but I don't want to get murdered, man.
Yeah, you'd have to fucking listen to Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah, it's arguably worse.
You gotta listen to Whitney's debut album before you get murdered.
Why is this guy shifting with an axe? I don't get it.
My number 2 is Lightning McQueen from Cars.
You don't want to be inside him, Chuck?
I was gonna say I have so many questions.
Oh yeah.
Do I have to ride on the roof? Can I get inside? If I get inside him, would that hurt?
That's worse than Titan.
Would he like it?
Oh my god. That's like, is it like biological inside there?
Yeah, is it fleshy in there? I don't want it.
Have you seen those illustrations online where people do like the cross cut of Lightning McQueen? Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, I'm gonna think about that every time I see it now. Oh my god. All right. Well, my number 1 is I would be reluctant, but only for a moment. It'd be Raoul Duke and Dr. Gonzo from Fear and Loathing. I'd basically be Tobey Maguire, but I would stay.
Yeah.
Take me to Vegas.
Yeah, and my number 1, I had the Doctor from Human Centipede.
Yeah,
that's it, man. I took this question pretty literally.
Because he's got some on him.
Yeah, I don't want to end up as segment B or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, I still haven't watched that movie. I don't need to.
You don't need to.
Yeah, you're not missing much. There's like a classic Daniel Tosh bit where he just describes the movie, and that's way better than watching the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like the pop culture of it all has seeped in so much. I don't need to see it.
Just watch the South Park episode.
Yeah, exactly.
That works.
Yeah.
My number one is basically just this movie. It's James from the movie Crash, the 96 movie, not the tear-jerking after-school special Oscar winner. But yeah, we're gonna crash, and I probably won't survive it. And much like Death Proof, it's all just so James can get his nut.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay with that. I don't want to die just so this guy can get his rocks off.
You're not gonna be horny afterwards?
No, I'll be dead.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show. If you're still listening, thank you. I have been Luc Londe.
I have been Chuck Starzenski.
I have been Javier Martinez.
And we have been the Nostalgia Killers.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom.